नमस्ते दोस्तों, आपका वैल्यू एजुकेटर चैनल में स्वागत है, जहां आप सीखते हो स्टॉक मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट करके आप कैसे पैसे बना सकते हो। तो मेरा नाम है शशांक और ये वीडियो में हम पेटीएम के बारे में देखेंगे। उनका कंप्लीट बिजनेस मॉडल क्या है इसके बारे में अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे। स्टॉक ये जो फिलहाल में इतना फॉल हुआ है उसका क्या क्या रीजंस है। इसके पहले हम ये भी देखेंगे कि क्या एक्चुअल में जो बिजनेस है वो इतना अच्छा बिजनेस है या नहीं। काफी आप देखोगे तो डिस्कशन चल रहा है, टीवी चैनल्स में भी चल रहा है, अलग अलग फोरम्स में चल रहा है कि उनका जो बिजनेस है वो इतना अच्छा बिजनेस नहीं है जितना आईपीओ के समय में लोगों को लगा था। तो इसमें एक्चुअल में ट्रूथ क्या है इसके बारे में देखेंगे एंड फाइनली डिसाइड करेंगे कि ये करंटली जो प्राइस चल रहा है फिलहाल में, ये प्राइस में ये जो बिजनेस है क्या वो वर्थ इट है या नहीं। ऑलरेडी जो स्टॉक है वो काफी करेक्शन हो गया, उसमें लगभग 50% से ज्यादा करेक्शन हुआ है फ्रॉम द लिस्टिंग यदि आप देखोगे तो 2000 रुपीज के आसपास हुआ था और फिलहाल में जो स्टॉक प्राइस है वो लगभग 600 के आसपास है। तो काफी हैवी करेक्शन हुआ है, 50% से ज्यादा करेक्शन हुआ है, लगभग 60-70% का करेक्शन हुआ है। तो क्या ये प्राइस पे पेटीएम का जो फिलहाल में बिजनेस हमें मिल रहा है तो इज इट अवेलेबल एट वेरी गुड प्राइजेस और नॉट। तो वैल्यूएशन डिसाइड करने के पहले आपको ये जानना जरूरी है कि उनका बिजनेस एग्जैक्टली क्या है। बिजनेस यदि अच्छा होगा देन वी कैन फर्दर डिस्कस ऑन वैल्यूएशंस। इसीलिए पहले बिजनेस देख लेते हैं एंड देन विल आल्सो डिसाइड अबाउट द वैल्यूएशन। Paytm is a payments-led super app which allows its customer to access financial and other commercial services through its app. It was founded by Mr. Vijay Shekhar Sharma in 2009 as a prepaid mobile and DTH recharge platform. By 2014, the company launched the Paytm wallet, which could be used to pay for railway tickets, to book the movie tickets, and pay for utilities like gas and water bills. The company was biggest beneficiary of demonetization in India as Paytm was the only mainstream online payment service available at that time. Here we can see the evolution of the company from a platform that was primarily used for the mobile recharge to a financial services super app. The company has really focused on growing its payments and financial services segment in last few years, as it is evident from the increasing number of product launches in these two segments. Broadly speaking, Paytm services are separated in three main categories, which are payment services, commerce and cloud services, and financial services. Under payment services, they offer tools to consumers and merchants to send and receive money both online and in store. They were one of the pioneers in QR code payments in India. This is the company's largest vertical and contributes to about 68% of their revenues. Under commerce and cloud services, they provide services such as ticketing, gaming, shopping, entertainment, and other lifestyle services. This vertical contributes about 23% of their revenues. And finally, under financial services, the company provides services like lending, insurance, credit cards, gold, mutual funds, stocks, etc. Currently, it contributes about 9% of their revenues, and their goal is to grow this vertical and be giant in the financial services sector. Let us now take a look at each of these verticals in detail and how Paytm makes money from them. In payment services, Paytm offers customers a platform to transfer money to other people and also pay for various services. Some of the payments that customer can make on their platform are mobile and DTH recharge, pay for utilities like gas, electricity and water, pay for their credit cards, etc. They offer services to merchants like QR code to accept offline payments, payment gateways to accept online payments, and sound boxes that you may have seen in the stores. How does Paytm actually make the money from these payments? They charge a customer a small convenience fee in some cases, and they charge the merchant a payment processing fee for providing the platform to accept the payments. They receive rentals on Soundbox and payment processing fees on devices. They provide merchants like the card swipe machine, also known as POS machine. Under commerce services, the company offers services like ticket booking for travel, like flight tickets, train tickets, and bus tickets, and also entertainment like movies and events. People often confuse Paytm Mall, their failed e-commerce venture, to be a part of this vertical. but in reality that business is completely different and has nothing to do with the parent anymore. The company receives royalty from the Paytm mall for the rights to use their name. Then under cloud services, the company has Paytm First Games, which is their real money gaming platform where you can play the games like poker, rummy and fantasy cricket. The company also has mini apps on its platform. These are basically smaller versions of e-commerce apps that you can order directly from the Paytm app. For example, McDonald's and Domino's have their mini app on the Paytm where one can order directly in the Paytm app. You can book an Uber or order medicines from 1mg on the Paytm app as well. For the ticket booking, Paytm charges the customers a convenience fee. They also charge them a platform fee or a subscription for their First Games platform. Paytm charges merchants a payment processing fee and for commerce and hosting fee for mini games. They also have ads on their app for which they charge merchants marketing and advertising fee. Under financial services, the company has a Paytm bank called Paytm Payments Bank through which they offer customers some limited banking services. They also have a platform where they offer loans through other banks and NBFCs. They have Paytm Money where they offer customers trading and demat accounts and mutual funds. They also offer insurance and digital gold on their platform. Paytm is also one of the leading issuers of Fastag where they facilitate electronic toll collections through RFID technology. Using this vertical, they earn brokerage and fees from customers and merchants. They also charge merchants payment gateway charges and sourcing and collection fees. So now we know that the company actually makes the money. So the question is, the business is really all bad? The answer is no. Paytm is involved in many businesses and not all of them are great and scalable and actually profitable. But there are some segments in which they are absolute leaders and opportunity size is humongous. So let us first divide Paytm's various businesses into three buckets: the good business, the bad business and the undecided. In the good business bucket, we have their payment business in which they are absolute leader and opportunity size is also very large. We also have Fastag business and lending business in this bucket as they have just scratched the surface in terms of potential of these businesses. In the bad business bucket, we have ticketing, insurance, mutual funds, stocks, gold, etc. because these businesses operate into a very hyper competitive space. Then in the undecided bucket, we have company's cloud business, the First Games and mini apps. It is too early to tell if this business is good or bad. Can the company become a giant in this space? We don't know about it yet. Let's talk about the bad businesses first. Ticketing space have hyper competition. You can book travel tickets from Make My Trip or Go Ibigo or even IRCTC. Movies and events tickets can be booked from Book My Show. Even the other UPI payments apps like PhonePe, Google Pay or Amazon Pay offer these services. So it is unlikely that Paytm will ever become a leader in this space. When it comes to wealth space, the opportunity size is large, but it is also a hyper competitive industry. Policy Bazaar have 50% market share in online insurance industry. Paytm also competes with other fintechs like Upstocks, Grow and Zerodha in trading and demat account space. In addition to that, there are also traditional players like Motilal Oswal, Angel Broking, IIFL and Sharekhan. So it will be very hard for the Paytm to capture any meaningful part in this business. Now we'll look at those businesses which we kept under undecided bucket. This includes Paytm's cloud business where they host the apps of other merchants on their platform, the First Games business and advertising. The mini apps are novel concept and it is hard to tell right now if it could be a huge part of the company's future. In theory, the company has lot of data on the spending habits of consumer which they can use to sell targeted ads. This could be a huge revenue generator, but it is too early to tell. The real money gaming business also has the potential to be huge revenue generator in future, but since the gambling is involved, there is always a regulation risk with these type of businesses. Now we'll talk about the businesses of the company in which they are leader and the opportunity size is also very large. Paytm is the largest player in payment space in India. In financial year 2020, they held about 50% market share in P2M payments. P2M stands for person to merchant payments. But we have all heard about PhonePe and Google Pay have higher market share than Paytm. While this is true for UPI payments, UPI is not the only way to make the payments. While UPI make up about 56% of the volumes of P2M payments in calendar year 2021, they only made up 41% in value terms. Credit cards, on other hand, made up for 8% of the volume but 26% of value of P2M payments. Debit cards had about 14% share of volume and about 23% share of value. UPI is a payment mode that cannot be monetized, but credit cards and debit cards can. This is because PhonePe and Google Pay only provide interface to enable UPI transactions, whereas the base architecture of the UPI payment is provided by NPCI. Paytm, on other hand, is a payment gateway. If you have used the Paytm app, you will notice that it also gives you the options to make the payments via cards or net banking along with the UPI and wallet. Because the other UPI players cannot monetize their payment business, they have to sell other services to cover their cost to run payment business. Paytm can monetize its payment business and it is not dependent on few payment methods, which actually reduces its risk. Their payments business also includes a payment gateway that they provide to online retailers to make payments and POS devices. These payment modes can be fully monetized as the payment gateway provider charges the merchant on per transaction basis. Now let's take a look at how payment gateway works. Suppose you are shopping online on Flipkart and want to make a payment. Flipkart will redirect you to payment gateway where you will input your credit card details. The payment gateway encrypts your card information and sends this information to acquiring bank. The acquiring bank in this case would be Flipkart's bank where they will receive the payment. The acquiring bank will then forward the information to the card networks like MasterCard, Visa or RuPay. The card network clears the payment and requests authorization from the issuing bank. This is the customer's bank who issued the card. The issuing bank approves or declines the transaction based on your balance and passes the transaction results back to the card network. The card network sends this information back to the acquiring bank. The acquiring bank sends the authorization results back to the payment gateway. The payment gateway sends this information to Flipkart based on successful response and fulfills the order. All of this happens in a matter of seconds. This process is same whether you are using a card swipe machine called POS or an online payment gateway. In the month of January 2020, Paytm had about 42% market share in the payment gateway business. Just in Q3, they onboarded new clients such as LIC, Flipkart and Ola as clients for their payment gateway business. They compete with BillDesk, PayU and Razorpay in this business segment. But their competitive advantage is that they are an omnichannel payment enabler. They can provide your business with solutions for online and offline which these other players cannot. Suppose a big retailer like Shoppers Stops wants a payment gateway for their online store and POS machines for their offline stores. There aren't many players who can provide them with a complete solution which can be offline or online. Paytm is a two-sided ecosystem which other payment gateways are not. This means that they have their own customer base which the other players in industry do not have. So the merchants not only receives the payment gateway but also gets benefited from the Paytm's huge customer base. Another way that the company has been able to monetize their UPI payments is with the Soundbox. You may have seen these devices at various retailers. It is basically an IoT enabled device which provides instant notifications when you receive a payment. The device has saved a lot of vendors to save time by not having to check their phones for payment confirmation and remove the uncertainty of payment success. The merchant pay a monthly rental of 125 rupees for the device. The company has recently ramped up the device deployment and added about 21 lakh units in past year, which includes POS and Soundbox. Once the deployed devices will reach a critical mass, they will start providing the annuity type of revenues to the company. Another great business the company is involved is in Fastag. Fastag uses RFID technology to enable electronic toll collections in India. ICICI Bank and Paytm Payments Bank are the two leading issuers of the Fastag. Over the past 6 months, ICICI Bank has issued about 26% of the Fastags in India and Paytm issued about 23%. This is important because the issuing bank gets about 1.5% fees to process the toll payment. Apart from that, there is a 100 rupee issuing fee which has to be paid every 5 years. So by issuing more Fastags, the company gets annuity revenues every 5 years and the cost of issuing the tag is very low. So electronic toll collections for past 6 months were about 21,000 crores, out of which Paytm had about 23% market share. So the total payment issued by the Paytm Payments Bank was about 4,900 crores. The issuing bank gets a fee of about 1.5%, which means that the Paytm has earned about 74 crores in past 6 months for practically no cost. The advantage of having Paytm's Fastag is that you don't have to block your money in a separate Fastag wallet. The payments are deducted from the Paytm's wallet itself. So you can use your Paytm wallet for other things and not have to block your funds for toll payments separately. Fastag is still in its infancy and the applications for it are going to increase. Some of the future possible applications could be collecting payments for EV charging and collecting parking charges. As the use cases for the Fastag increases in future, the company who issues the most Fastag benefits greatly. Another great business segment the company is involved is lending business. The company is not directly involved in lending but provides a platform to banks and NBFCs to lend on their platform. People often confuse between Paytm's payment bank and the Paytm platform, but they are two different businesses. The Paytm payment bank cannot provide the loans and it is separate from the Paytm's platform or Paytm app, which only acts as a platform for disbursements and collections of the loans. The company has 3 products in this vertical, which are Paytm Postpaid, which is their buy now pay later product, personal loans and merchant loans. The average ticket size for Postpaid is about 2700. Average ticket size for personal loans is about 86,000 and a business loan is about 1,35,000. The company has expanded this business segment a lot in past year with a 407% increase in loan disbursed under Postpaid, 1100% increase in the number of personal loans and 40% increase in the number of business loans. The management says that the people who opt for Postpaid and have positive experience are the ones who actually goes to take personal loans. The business loans are given to small merchants who accept payments through Paytm. They were affected by COVID in last year and that is why growth numbers does not look very impressive. But these loans have very high repeatability and stickiness. The management have revealed that their take rate, which is the fee which they charge to loan provider, is 3 to 3.2% for Postpaid and about 4.5 to 5% for personal and merchant loans. We can use this reference to calculate how much the company actually earn from their lending business. The company may have received about 79 to 88 crores from their lending platform during Q3 2022. As of Q3, the company has about 2.5 crores merchants on their platform and they have disbursed about 35,000 loans during this quarter. So their current penetration for merchant loans is only 0.14%. But if you assume that the penetration goes up to 0.5%, that is 0.5% of the merchants on their platform take the loan, the revenues could be 76 to 88 crores from the merchants' loans alone. You can take a look at the table to see how much revenues the company can earn as the penetration of the merchant loan increases on their platform. 197 Communications, the parent company, has no interest in being a lender. They prefer to be a platform for credit disbursal. They can offer lenders access to their merchant network. They can also provide them with detailed data on transactions which they would then otherwise won't have. The traditional lenders are used to lending by offline means. To start lending online, it would cost them a lot more to acquire a customer than to use the Paytm's ready customer base. Paytm also has consumers on their platform who have never used credit called new to credit or NTC customers which the bank can access. Paytm also provides them with a collection mechanism which they might not want to build themselves. They also earn via payment processing charges for the collections. So the lending platform is a very robust and scalable business model and has the potential to be their biggest revenue generation in future. So this is the company's basic business model, that they acquire the customer through UPI, which is the cheapest means of customer acquisition. As the number of customer grows, the number of merchants also grows, and this is the network effect. More customer provide them with the use cases to monetize them like ticketing and investments. More merchants provides them with the ways to monetize them via payment processing charges and lending. It is important to note that Paytm does not charge small merchants for accepting payments. They only charge large customers like Uber, Ola or LIC. They prefer to monetize the small merchants through lending. One of the best businesses that the company currently have is its payments bank. Payments banks are new models of banks which offer some limited banking services. They can accept deposits only up to 2 lakhs and cannot issue loans or credit cards. They were conceptualized by RBI to provide banking services to low-income households and migrant labor forces through technology. There are currently 6 payments banks in India, with Paytm's payment bank being the largest. It operates independently from the parent company and its assets and liabilities are not consolidated. However, they do use the Paytm app to provide their banking services. Paytm's payment bank provides services such as current account, saving account, salary account, fixed deposit account and credit card. 56% of the merchants on their platform have the Paytm payment bank account, which is the huge captive consumer base. Vijay Shekhar Sharma owns about 51% of the equity in Paytm's payment bank and the rest is owned by the company, which is 197 Communication. This was due to the RBI's requirement that they needed an Indian domiciled promoter. Paytm Payment Bank turned profitable in 2019, 2 years after inception. In March 2022, Paytm Payments Bank received an order from RBI to stop onboarding new customers. But this is not the first time company has asked to do so by RBI. They received their first notice from the RBI in 2018 due to faulty KYC process. No monetary penalty was imposed on the company at that time. Then again in 2021, RBI fined a company of about 1 crore rupee for submitting false information to the regulator. Now in March 2022, the RBI has again stopped the onboarding of the customers and asked them to hire the third-party auditor for IT audit. Paytm will be eligible to apply for a small finance banking license in May 2022 as the Paytm Payments Bank will complete 5 years. The management has expressed that they will most likely apply for the license and look to enter into lending space. It seems doubtful that RBI will grant this license as the more than 30% of the company is owned by Chinese entities. If they do manage to get the license, their lending business will run independently of the parent company and their assets and liabilities will not be consolidated. They may however use Paytm's lending platform to disburse their loans. The company also receives royalty payments from their subsidiaries as they have licensed their brand Paytm to them. The 3 entities that pay royalty are Paytm Payments Bank, Paytm First Games and Paytm Mall. This is the revenue to the company and that has no cost to them. The company's revenue from payments to consumer has grown by 60% year on year, whereas revenue from the payment services to merchants has grown about 118% year on year. The revenue of the financial services has grown 197% and this vertical is expected to post high growth numbers for the foreseeable future. The revenues from commerce services have grown about 57% year on year, but this vertical was depressed in the past due to COVID and it is expected to bounce back very sharply. The revenues from the cloud services have also posted a good growth number at about 70%. Despite the revenues all growing at impressive numbers, the company is still making a loss at the EBITDA level. This is because their marketing and employee costs are too high. There are significant problems in the business as well. First off, they have a very complicated corporate structure. They have about 32 subsidiaries, out of which 15 are domestic and 17 are foreign. The way they account for them also different. They consolidate some of the entities and they do not consolidate some others. So it becomes very difficult to understand if the company is hiding any liabilities off the balance sheet. The other issue with the company is that it is one of the largest issuer of the ESOP. They currently have about 65 crores of the shares outstanding, but they also have the ESOP pool of about 4.5 crores. So with full dilution, it would be about 69.5 crores shares. which results in the significant dilution to the shareholders. In 2021, the company issued about 2.75 crore ESOPs, out of which 77% went to Vijay Shekhar Sharma. The exercise price of these ESOPs were 9 rupees per share, whereas the IPO price was 2150 rupees per share. Although this is a non-cash expense, it seems like the company will not be profitable at PAT level till then. One of the biggest risks is that the company still has the startup mentality, where they are burning huge amount of cash with no clear path to profitability. The management has indicated that they will be profitable at pre-ESOP EBITDA level in next 6 quarters, but there is no indication as to when it will become profitable at PAT level, which is profit after tax. But clearly the business has the potential for huge operating leverage, but such tech companies are entering into the market for the first time. The stock seems to be overvalued by all matrices for the company that has no plans to show positive earnings for at least next 5 to 6 years. But the stock is not a business and the business is not the stock. The business may be good, but buying at current valuations would leave no margin of safety. Like the Benjamin Graham has said, a great company is not a good investment if you overpay for it. तो आप मुझे जरूर नीचे कमेंट में लिख के बताइए कि पेटीएम का जो आईपीओ है, क्या आपने उसको सब्सक्राइब किया था या नहीं, या करंटली आप आपके पोर्टफोलियो में पेटीएम का जो बिजनेस है वो फिलहाल में होल्ड कर रहे हो नहीं। ये जरूर आप मुझे नीचे कमेंट में लिख के बताइए, और आपके जो भी सजेशंस होंगे वो आप मुझे नीचे कमेंट में लिख के बता सकते हो। यदि आपको भी जानना है कि मैं मेरे पोर्टफोलियो में कौन कौन से स्टॉक्स होल्ड करता हूँ, कौन कौन से सेक्टर्स आ जाते हैं उसमें, हर स्टॉक का अलोकेशन क्या है, इसमें कैसे मैं अलोकेशन जो है वो इंक्रीज या डिक्रीज करता हूँ, या जो भी स्टॉक्स मैंने मेरे पोर्टफोलियो में होल्ड किए हैं उसमें उनका जो रिजल्ट्स है वो मैं कैसे देखता हूँ, उसके रिलेटेड यदि आपको अपडेट्स चाहिए होंगे, या इसके रिलेटेड आपको कुछ रिपोर्ट्स चाहिए होंगे, या इसके अलावा कुछ डेडिकेटेड वीडियोस चाहिए होंगे, तो यदि आपको पेटीएम का ये डिटेल वीडियो पसंद आया होगा तो जरूर से लाइक कर दीजिए, मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और बेल आइकन पे क्लिक कीजिए ताकि ऐसे जो वीडियोस है वो आपको आगे जाके भी मिलते रहे। और ये जो वीडियो है वो जरूर आप आपके फ्रेंड्स के साथ भी शेयर कीजिए ताकि उनको भी काफी डिटेल में नॉलेज मिल जाएगा अबाउट पेटीएम बिजनेस मॉडल।